A very good morning to all of you. Today I am going to tell you something about our environment. It is something which is relevant to class 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 because in some form or the other this topic is always reflected in social studies. So let us learn something about our environment. What is when somebody tells you your environment is good or the environment is bad, or the child is not developing properly because the environment he or she lives in is not good? What does that mean? It means the living conditions around us. That is what reflects upon us. If the environment is positive, we become positive human beings. But if people keep on saying negative things, we become negative human beings. If the environment is clean, beautiful, we become happy human beings. If the environment is dirty, cluttered and unpleasant, we cannot tap into our potential. We become stunted in growth. So the earth also has an environment. The environment around the earth is, you can divide it roughly into two: natural and human. Natural environment means everything that is naturally endowed by nature. The trees, the mountains, the water, the sky, all the minerals and metals that we extract from the earth, all the trees, all the fish in the water, the birds in the sky, all these come under natural environment. And then you have the human environment, which is made by human beings for their own comfort. So then what happens? Natural environment can be divided into two. First is biotic and then is abiotic. Biotic means all the living things. Human beings are also a part of the biotic environment, animals, fish, etc. And abiotic is the lithosphere, the hydrosphere and the atmosphere. Now, today we are going to talk about first the natural environment. The natural environment comprises of all living and non-living things that occur naturally on earth. It is the interaction and interrelation between human beings and all the other living beings. So natural environment can be, what did I tell you? Biotic or abiotic. Biotic components consist of all the living things, all the living creatures together form the biotic environment, and abiotic or the physical environment consists of all the non-living things, meaning the lithosphere. Now what is the lithosphere? Such a big term, lithosphere. It means all the solid surface that we see on the earth, that is the lithosphere. Now then comes the water, which is the hydrosphere, and then we see the atmosphere. Though we see the sky only as blue from below, but the sky, it goes much beyond what we can see. Those of you who have travelled by aeroplane know how high the aeroplane has to fly. Now let us look at the realms of the earth. Now these three are called the realms of the earth. What three? The lithosphere, which is the solid portion of the earth, the hydrosphere, which is the liquid portion of the earth, all the water bodies, etc. Atmosphere, it is the blanket of air which encompasses the entire earth, and then you have the biosphere. Now what is the biosphere? Now if you make a drawing, you make a drawing of land, you make a drawing with water, and then you draw the sky. The place where these three meet, is known as the biosphere. That is the space where water, land and sky, they meet and life exists. So that is called the biosphere. Now first we will talk about the lithosphere. The lithosphere is the outside solid crust of the earth. and it is the sphere of rocks. It consists of rocks, minerals, and a thin layer of soil. It is about 100 kilometers thick, and the surface is irregular, and it is made up of various landforms like mountains, plateaus, deserts, the Indo-Gangetic plain, the river plains, and valleys. The thin uppermost layer of the lithosphere, which is about 35 kilometers in thickness, is called the crust. Now, the crust of the earth is 35 kilometers. So, supposing you dig a well and you keep on digging, you will find the lithosphere stretches right up to 35 kilometers. And then after that you have the mantle. Mantle also, you have the upper mantle and the lower mantle. The lithosphere is of great importance to us. Now, all living creatures depend upon the lithosphere for their life, for their existence. All the trees, the plants, the forests, the crops that we grow, the place where we build our houses, the roads, everything the homes that we live in, all are built on the lithosphere. We get many useful minerals like coal, natural gas, iron ore, oil, and so many other minerals. If you look at India, you get mica in Rajasthan and in Giridih. You get coal, then you get manganese, you get bauxite. So how do our mineral industries thrive? It is because of all these minerals which are available in the lithosphere. Now, this lithosphere is of paramount importance to the existence of life, because it contains soil, and soil takes millions of years to make. Farmers cannot till a land if there is no soil. Can you make a field can you cultivate crops in a field which is full of big rocks and boulders? No, you need soil. How will the plant grow? And so conservation of soil, protecting this very important and precious layer is very important. I cannot tell you how important. So let me give you some more information about this. Since we are talking about the topmost layer of the lithosphere, soil, let me give you some more information. Soil is formed over millions of years. It is formed because of the breaking up of rocks, wind erosion, water erosion, and heating and cooling of rocks, and it takes thousands of years to form. This soil is also brought down by the rivers. You have seen on the river banks, soil is deposited. Yes, that soil is brought down by the rivers. So can you imagine how much of work Mother Nature has to do to make that soil? And if that soil is not present, then crops will not grow, trees will not grow. What will the animals do? There will be starvation because there will be no food. So soil is of paramount importance. So how can we protect this soil from soil erosion? How can we do that? By planting trees. So all of you must plant trees. Trees are very important. The roots of the trees hold the soil together. The trees, if there are no trees, then the water cycle gets disrupted. Rains will not come on time. The water bodies will not be refreshed. The animals will suffer. And if animals suffer, then automatically human beings will also suffer. Because in a place which does not have trees, the environment will be very hot. Very hot. Because trees help to modify the climate. So all of you must plant trees. Make it your holy duty that no, every year for every birthday, I must plant a tree. Then we come to the hydrosphere. If you have all seen marble cake, with so many different layers, chocolate, vanilla, butterscotch. You have seen a marble cake? So when you cut a slice, you see different colors. That is the way, even if you cut a slice into the earth, that is how it looks. You have the topmost layer, which is the crust, the lithosphere, the upper solid mantle. Then you have the lower mantle. Then you have the core, which is the liquid layer. Then you have the inner core, which is the solid layer. So imagine that you're cutting a marble cake. Up you have all the chocolate and the decorations, that is the crust. Then below that, your favorite flavor, it may be chocolate, that is the mantle. Then you have vanilla flavor, that is the core. And then you have strawberry flavor, that is the solid core, inner core. So have you understood the importance of the lithosphere? If it does not exist, then life will not exist. Now let us go to the next layer, because human body is made up of 70% water. So we all need water. You can survive without food for 3 days, but definitely not without water. So the earth is called the blue planet. If you look at the beautiful pictures taken by NASA, how many of you saw the beautiful picture taken by NASA on the 22nd, when we were all asked to light lamps outside our homes to show solidarity with our health workers? Yes, that beautiful picture that they took of the earth and the beautiful picture of India with all the lamps was really heartening, that we, the people of India, we stand together. So the earth is called the blue planet. It's a very beautiful planet because large portions of it are covered with water. The name hydrosphere comes from the name hydro, which means water. In chemistry you have learnt H2O, so hydrosphere means water. Now water exists in three different forms. All of you like to eat ice cream. You take out ice from the fridge to cool your drinks in summer. Now it is the height of summer. Everybody must be rushing to the fridge. So solid is ice, then you have liquid, then you have gas, which is water vapor. You have oceans, seas, rivers, lakes, snow, ice, glaciers, water vapor. All these together make up the hydrosphere. So hydrosphere consists of the water layer of the earth. Now the hydrosphere is of utmost importance. Why? Because water bodies, they modify the climate of a place. Now in class 6 you may have learnt about the hydrosphere, how places which are closer to the seas or the ocean, how they have land breeze and sea breeze. You may have been to Goa, you may have been to Bhubaneswar or Bombay. You will see that at night it becomes cooler, even though in the day it may be hot. So this is all because of the hydrosphere or the water body present around that place, and this is called land breeze and sea breeze. Then oceans. The oceans are very important because they provide us with food and minerals. Food, all the fish that you get from the ocean, you get planktons, you get all the different types of minerals, you get salt from the ocean. Yes, have you seen ocean salt, the rough salt that you get in the market? So it contains iodine, that is called ocean salt. So that also we get from the ocean. Now this hydrosphere is also very important because all the rivers and all the seas help us in navigation. Now you have learnt earlier that long ago there was a overland sea route and there was a overland silk route and a overseas silk route. So since time immemorial, these silk routes have contributed to the exchange of ideas and trade and commerce. So can there be a silk route over the oceans if there is no water? Can there be an ocean without water? No. So it is very, very important for trade and to boost commerce. You may have seen in the movies those big containers. All right. So these big containers, they come on ocean liners, and these containers are used for trading. So they are very important for commerce. Then farmers. Our farmers are very, very important. They are the annadata. If they don't cultivate crops, we will die of starvation. So water is used for all agricultural purpose. Then we have water for industrial purpose. In most of the industries, they need water for cooling, and they need water for carrying out the industrial process, for manufacturing. So water helps in the factories, or is an important component, a factor of production in the factories. Then, can you imagine a day without electricity? The day there is load shedding, all of us, and now it's peak summer, what will we do? We'll be waiting and waiting for the electricity to come. We'll feel hot, we'll feel sticky. So electricity is an indispensable need in our lives. So it is used for generating electricity and for power purpose. Water, we use it for drinking, we use it for cooking in our households, we use it for washing and cleaning. So water, this hydrosphere, is of paramount importance. Life exists on earth because of water. I hope you have understood. You must not waste water. Turn off the tap after you finished using, and be very, very meticulous while using water. Respect it. Then comes the atmosphere. Now when you look up in the sky, you see a blue sky and you think, well, that is the sky and that is it. No. The thin layer of air which envelopes the earth, this layer of air is called the atmosphere. It is held close to the earth because of our gravity. The atmosphere contains many gases like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide. It also contains dust and water vapor. So the atmosphere is made up of many natural gases like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and there are many other gases also, argon, helium and noble gases. Now let us see what is the quantity of these gases in the atmosphere. Nitrogen is the most abundantly available gas. It is 78%. Then you have oxygen, which is 21%. The remaining 1% is carbon dioxide, hydrogen, argon, helium and other noble gases. Now the atmosphere is an important domain of the earth. Why? Because how will we survive if there is no oxygen? You have all read about what happened in Delhi, how so much of pollution went up and people had difficulty breathing. If you hold your breath, can any of us hold our breaths for 2 minutes? Not possible. We'll all be gasping for air. So we cannot survive without oxygen. And carbon dioxide, another very important gas. Why? Because it helps in photosynthesis. How will the green plants be green if there is no carbon dioxide? It helps them to make their food. The atmosphere is very important. I don't know how many of you have read the news recently that a hole is appearing in the Arctic, above the Arctic Circle, in the ozone layer. Now this ozone layer, this is very important because it protects the earth from the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. So we cannot afford to damage it. But we are damaging it. Human beings are damaging it, not the animals. Animals don't need AC. They don't need perfumes. They don't need fridge. So how are we damaging this ozone layer? because of the use of chlorofluorocarbon and aerosol cans. You have seen the ads for Axe perfume and all. Puss, puss. Yes, that puss, puss is not good for the environment. Alright. So how can this, because if this ozone layer is depleted, then all of us will start suffering from skin cancer and many other skin related diseases. So you must protect. How can you not protect the things which are protecting your life? Isn't that stupidity? Now, the atmosphere blocks the harmful rays of the sun from reaching the earth. It controls the climatic conditions and the change in seasons. Now we have spring, summer, autumn, winter in many parts of the earth. In India we have spring, and then we have the advancing monsoon season, and then the retreating monsoon season, and then we have winter. So all this is possible because of the atmosphere. So trees are very important because they regulate the water cycle, and if there's too much of pollution and all, the water cycle gets disturbed, the seasons get disturbed. So we have to be very, very conscientious. We have to be like warriors. We must protect our Mother Earth. Now I told you that the biosphere, where the land, lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, that narrow zone where all three meet is known as the biosphere. Biosphere is a narrow zone on the earth where the lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere all meet. It is also called the living world, and it consists of plants and animal kingdom. It is the zone where all living beings interact with each other to support life on earth. The biosphere consists of living beings ranging from microscopic organisms to huge trees. Now microscopic organisms, all the very, 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 very tiny creatures which you cannot see with your eyes, and the huge trees, animals and human beings. The great variety of life on earth is termed as biodiversity. So what is the word biodiversity? It means the great variety of life which is found on the earth. The two major elements of the biosphere, we are producers and consumers. Now producer means those which can make their own food. So can we make our own food in our own bodies? No. Can animals make food in their own bodies? No. So animals, human beings, we are all consumers. But plants can make food with photosynthesis, so they are the producers. The two kingdoms are interdependent and also dependent on the physical environment for survival. Now, if you make a diagram of the ecosystem in the biosphere, you draw a circle. First box, you write abiotic chemicals, carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, minerals. Then from there you draw arrow, draw another box, write producers, which means plants, and you draw trees, and you draw the sun, because how can there be photosynthesis without sunlight and water? Then you go down, you make another box, write consumers, write herbivorous and carnivorous. Herbivorous, those animals which eat plants, and carnivorous, those animals which eat other animals, and omnivorous, which eat both. So you can draw a nice picture of a cow or a goat which is a herbivore, and you can draw a cute little dog which is a carnivore, or a lion which is a carnivore, because dogs are omnivorous. Then you go up and you come to the decomposers. The decomposers are the bacteria and fungi which help to decompose all these things so that they go back to Mother Earth, and then the arrow goes up again to the biotic chemicals. Now at each phase, wherever you have drawn an arrow, heat is produced. because whenever there is a chemical reaction or any kind of reaction, one byproduct is heat. So don't forget to draw arrow outside and write heat. Now the biosphere is made up of separate zones. Each zone has its own physical environment and plant and animal life. This is called the ecosystem. The elements of the ecosystem interact with each other. All the biotic components are interdependent on each other and also interact with the abiotic components. For example, if there's a small pond, all the living things in that pond, plants, insects, fish, etc., all are dependent on each other and also on their physical environment, meaning water and sunlight. In every ecosystem, there exists a balance or equilibrium for the transfer of energy and matter among different components. This is known as the ecological balance. Now, if we human beings, we pollute all the seas, we pollute the rivers, we pollute the sky, we pollute the air that we breathe, we do massive deforestation. What are we doing? We are causing an imbalance in the ecosystem. So what will be the consequence? We are endangering our very existence. So everything should be in balance. Now tell me something. Supposing you are making an omelette and you put half a teaspoon of salt instead of just a pinch of salt. Is it edible? No. In the same way, our earth, if the ecosystem is not in proper balance, there will be problems. All the earthquakes, the tsunamis, the hurricanes, the floods that you read about are all caused because of the imbalance in the ecosystem. Now let us come to the human environment. Human beings, the human environment refers to everything which is created by human beings like roads, buildings, bridges, etc. And it also refers to all the activities carried out by human beings. For example, mining, agriculture and manufacturing. Human beings are very important components of the environment, and human beings have the ability to adapt themselves to the environment. And their actions influence their surroundings. The interaction between human beings and the environment changes with place and time. So first man used to live in caves, then he discovered fire, and then he discovered farming. So gradually and eventually man learned to adapt. So men are adaptable. Early human beings had very few needs and led a very, very simple life. They were able to fulfill their needs with all that was naturally available in their surroundings. Hence, they adjusted easily, they settled down easily, the environment was not polluted like ours is today. They did not feel the need to modify the environment, but gradually the needs and the demands of human beings started increasing. And they started first growing crops, to rearing animals, to using fire. For this, they had to alter the environment. For example, now forests had to be cleared, because when human beings started leading a settled life, a comfortable life, naturally there would be growth in population, because environment is good, the sources are there, there's food, there's water, there is health, there's peace, prosperity, so population will definitely start growing. So to feed that population, they needed more land. So where will that land come from? Will we take it out of Aladdin's lamp? Can you do this? Come land. No. So then what happened? They started clearing the forests to increase the land under cultivation. As people As people started making progress, the wheel was invented, surplus food was produced, and this food had to be exchanged and transported. So you have read about the barter system. I grow wheat, you grow rice. You give me 1 kg wheat, I give you 1 kg rice. That is the barter system. Then this led to the introduction of trade. The invention of machines gave birth to factories which started manufacturing goods. Now a factory is a place where all the factors of production are under one roof. In olden days, factories, these means of production were in different places, decentralized units. One place you would put all the cotton, in another place you would do the weaving, in another place you would color it, in another place you would do the finishing. And can you imagine how tedious this was? So now what happened? They put all the factors under one roof, and this was called a factory. So these factories use raw material and natural resources, iron ore, coal, fuel, which started depleting slowly. Now what happened, beta? Factors like iron ore, coal, fuel, which are depleting slowly. Depleting means becoming less and less. Why? Because these things take millions of years to regenerate. Coal does not happen, oh, I want to make coal, you go to the kitchen, you add this, you add that, and coal you make. No, it takes millions of years. All the dead and decayed organic matter has to go through a lot of different processes. It is pressed, it goes to heat, and finally after millions of years that organic matter becomes coal. And so coal is called buried sunshine because it is carbon. Then the fuel that we use, all the oil inside the earth, that is also from organic matter. That takes millions of years to make, but we use it so carelessly, no? Your mother tells you, go to the shop and get a packet of bread. You think walking is below your dignity, going on a cycle is below your dignity. You want to take an Activa. You're burning fuel. That is useless, not good for the health also. So these careless things that we do without thinking are changing our natural environment and causing a lot of environmental issues. The G20 summit on the environment, I don't know if any of you saw it. It's a cause of grave concern that every country should have 33% of its total land mass under forests. And today India has only got 21%. So isn't that a great concern for our country? Now, construction, agriculture, mining, transportation, overpopulation are adversely affecting our natural environment. How are they affecting? Because when you're doing construction, naturally you're clearing forests or you're clearing land, you're using cement, you're using other things to make your homes. Then agriculture, because you need food, so naturally you will grow crops. Now in agriculture also man has interfered, not using natural fertilizers anymore. Man has started using all chemicals for fertilizers which go down to the water table. So man is polluting the water table. That is why you see so many doctors with so many medicine shops. Why? Because all of us are suffering. And who is responsible? Us. Did the lion invent chemical fertilizers? No. Did the elephant invent? No. Did the trees invent? No. Who invented us? And we have caused detrimental damage to all the other living species because of our carelessness. Then what happens? We have adversely affected the natural environment. This change is taking place so rapidly that nature is unable to repair the damage. Global warming, extinction of a large number of plants and animals and birds, pollution of air, water are some of the consequences of this technological advancement. And in return, the consequences, we have damaged or done harm to our environment. So what can we do to save our environment or to tell Mother Earth, oh, I'm so sorry? We have to maintain a healthy balance between human environment and natural environment. Be very, very vigilant. Don't use non-biodegradable things. Live in harmony with nature. Plant trees. Respect all living creatures. Then only can you do something for Mother Earth. I hope you liked the video. If you like it, please like, subscribe and press the bell icon for my further videos.